Monday Night Football brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Tampa Bay Bucs and the LA Rams. This is 6.5, 7 in favor of the Rams at home over the Bucs. 49.5 is our total here in this one. Noops, as we start to handicap this one, we start with the injury report, which is at least somewhat interesting for Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin is going to go. Hassan Reddick will not, and neither will Bucky Irving. Again, just a wild deal with this whole Bucky Irving thing. And now going to come out in his 7th week of being out for this team. Just wild that they didn't put him on IR, but he is not going to be out there for them. I think it matters a little bit because I think he is definitely better than Sean Tucker and Rashad White and all that stuff like that. But getting Godwin back does give me a little bit of pause because I wonder if I'm artificially inflating this team in my mind based off of what Chris Godwin used to be. And this, what I used to think about Chris Godwin and this unbelievable slot receiver that caught every single ball. I mean, it's a couple major injuries for him later here, Noops. And now another one that took him out for several weeks. And this being the first game back, I think my brain wants me to think like, oh, Chris Godwin's going to be out there. But it might be more like, oh, Chris Godwin's out there.
Yeah, it's a spot where, it's going to be the last really tough week for what has been a brutal start to the season for the Buccaneers. Playing in a division that's been really bad. You look at their schedule at Atlanta while the Falcons were still good, at Houston, did play the Jets, but then Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco, Detroit. Yes, they got the Saints, but then the Patriots, Buffalo, and now the Rams. Finally, next week, they get into the easier part of their schedule. Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, again, were beat up. Carolina twice and at Miami. So I think, again, if you're Tampa Bay, this is just let's get through this week. And again, still leading the division here, still in good shape despite just a brutal set of injuries. And again, the wide receivers, Chris Godwin, we know even if he's playing, he's not 100%. We saw Ibuka play last week. He's questionable, but kind of the same rhythm he had last week, questionable in a few, limited in a few practices. Do expect him to play. And I think there is a small chance, again, if Ibuka can play, we get a decent game out of Sean Tucker and Rashad White, and Baker, again, reaches into his bag and pulls out a little bit of the magic that we've seen from him in some of these big games. Maybe there's a chance they can keep this game close or win it. But, I mean, the Rams are arguably the best team in the NFL at this point. Top 3 offense, top 3 defense, really totally in control of what they have going on. And it's not like a game in LA normally where you have a lot of fans from the other team. With all due respect to Bucs fans, I'm not expecting this to be a flip stadium like we've seen in a couple other games. So I kind of get why this spread is where it is at 6.5, 6. Probably still a little too high, but I'm just not ready to take the Buccaneers because it's just absolutely brutal for them. Missing their left guard and left tackle Trenton Wirfs is questionable. Again, limited in practice, but if he goes out, I don't know how you trust Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Noops, this is one of those weird games where you sit here and you start to you look and you compare these teams, and I have the Rams as number 1 in my power ratings. Like I believe that they are the best team in the NFL currently constructed. The numbers tell you that pretty much. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, they're in the top 5 in just about everything that we care about. On the defensive side of the ball, they're in the top 7 or 8 in just about everything that we care about as well. You got a really good quarterback. You have 2 good receivers. You got a good running back. I mean, I'm going what is stopping me from pulling the trigger here on all of this? And we've seen the Baker magic. We've seen whatever. In the back of my mind, Chris Godwin can still play football, and I think that matters. Maybe he can't, and then it won't matter. And not having Bucky Irving, who's a much more dynamic player than you have with some of these the other guys that they're going to be rolling out there. I think it's an unfortunate deal of a Rams or pass, but I haven't gotten there. That said, if for some strange reason this thing takes a run, and if it gets on the other side of 7, Noops, I think just out of principle, I might have to play the Bucs. If this is 7.5 by the time this thing kicks, because there are 7s already out there in the market. If this gets to 7.5, I have to play the Bucs.
I agree, because, again, I think that back door is going to be wide open with as good as the wide receivers can be. Igbuka's awesome, and if Goodwin can be okay, you've still got Sterling Shepard there. You've got some talent in the passing games. Tez Johnson has been really solid. And, again, we've seen Baker at the end of these games be able to score late and push the ball down the field. So even if the Rams are up by 14 going into that last drive, it's not like Tampa Bay is going to play to lose the game. They're going to keep pushing there. So I agree. If it continues to stretch out, I might have to be talking to some Buccaneers as well. Again, might just wait and grab something live.
Is there where does the passing? Okay, so we know. Let's just live in a world where Chris Godwin is not Chris Godwin. He's just kind of out there and doing whatever. Is it Tez Johnson? Is it Cade Otton? Is it whatever? Because, I mean, we know Baker's going to sling it. I mean, like, whether there's efficiency there or not, we can't really say. But where does the production go?
Yeah, again, I think we're going to see Egbuka will be top of the list as he's been all year. If you look at some of the other runs,
Bet $5,
has been getting
get $300 in bonus bets,
Sterling
win
Shepard has
or
just been a really
lose.
solid player
With
for this team. He's second on the team in
365
targets,
Sportsbook.
has been healthy basically
Gambling
every
problem?
week and is
Call
out there.
1-800-GAMBLER,
I think
21
Godwin
plus
maybe
only.
will take a little bit of those
T&Cs
Shepard
apply
targets.
in app
Shepard's a little
only.
bit more of a slot guy, and then we'll have Johnson and Egbuka on the outside.
Yeah, it is just like, it's an interesting matchup. I think this would solidify my position on the Rams being the number one team in the NFL. If they're able to go out and throttle this Bucs team, I think I would feel very comfortable doing that. But here's the thing: it's still a game to evaluate, because the Bucs are going to make the playoffs because that division's terrible. And so, if you get in the tournament, Noops, you can still. Step one is get in the tournament, and then what happens from there? Mike Evans is still to come back at some point. Godwin, you would think, would ramp up and get better. We assume Bucky Irving is coming back at some point. Who knows? We thought that for the last 5 weeks that he was going to come back. But so I think that seeing what this Bucs team looks like today as to what the potential could be here in 3 or 4 weeks is also fairly interesting.
It really is, and I agree with you. I wouldn't take whatever opinion you have of Tampa Bay this week or even the next couple weeks into the playoffs. Things can get wildly different once they get healthy. Again, have that offensive line all good. Get Hassan Reddick and Jamal Dean back on the defense. Get Godwin kind of up to speed and Bucky Irving back. It suddenly becomes a really dangerous team, the team that everyone before the season was talking about as a dark horse.
Yeah, I might play me a little Cade Otton before it's all said and done. I can see him being the kind of security blanket type stuff there for Baker, and considering this Rams front has been getting pressure as well on quarterbacks, and seems like maybe he's the guy that has been the beneficiary of just kind of some of the dump offs or whatever. So probably some Cade Otton there.
Makes sense
for me. Guys, as always, everything to do absolutely free. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Let us know in the comment section what your favorite play of the week is. If you're still in Survivor, good on you. You have plenty of awesome options this week. This is not the week to get cute. Like, you've got 4 really, really solid options this week. So don't see any reason to go crazy here in this one. So go in and advance to next week, and then we can start talking about this thing getting pretty real. You moved to week 13. Yes, things are definitely getting real over there in Survivor. For Noops, I am Matt. Good luck on all your week 12 bets.
Bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose, with Bet 365 Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus only. T&Cs apply in app only.